Hi Slate friend, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maylene Call from Mrs. Call's Campers. If you're new here, I currently teach kindergarten and first grade in Northern California. Today I just wanted to talk to you guys really quickly about report cards and testing and data. One of the things that was hard for me whenever I sat down to do report cards is doing all of my comments all at once, and I just couldn't think and be specific enough about my kids when I was sitting there after school, tired and just wanting to be done. So one thing that I do that's made a difference is I take a clipboard with my students' names and I just write notes on them. The week before I'm gonna be doing report cards, or maybe even a week and a half before, I will literally just have their names on a paper. I don't even put lines half the time. I just scribble their names somewhere and I will just take anecdotal notes. And you'd be surprised the things you pick up on throughout the day that are good to leave in the report card comments that you just don't think about after school when you're tired. So I have a very simple clipboard, student names, and I just take very simple notes. That way I can just look at my sheet and know exactly what I want to say. Jumping off of that, another thing I do with my report card comments is I have a Word document and it looks something like this. So the first column has the student name, and then I have columns for every trimester. If you do it by quarter, you could have a column for every quarter. And I like to keep all of my student comments in this document. It is a running document, so the first trimester, I will convert my notes into a formal comment and I will type it in that student's row. And I'll do it for every one of my students, and then whenever I put the actual comment on the report card, I just copy and paste that. I know some of you guys do it by hand. I think most schools now probably have digital report cards. I know my first school we did it by hand. Since I've been in California, it has all been on the computer. So anyways, first quarter, first trimester rolls around, copy and paste the comment into the actual report card system. The next time you do report cards, you can see very clearly what you've written for every student, and then you can just tweak it a little bit for the next one, or you already have phrasing that you like that you can use. I do take notes every time before report card, but when you have one document that shows what you've already said for the student all laid out for you, it makes writing comments for the second trimester, second quarter, third trimester, third quarter, it makes it so much easier. So I would recommend keeping it all in a document, and also it's easy to have that wording from year to year if you need it. So that's the second thing I do. The last thing I do that makes my life easier is I use ESGI. And if you've watched my vlogs before, if you follow me on Instagram, you've heard me talk about it. It is basically my one-stop for assessments, and I did not have it my first year teaching. I had to do everything by hand and it was awful. The kindergarten team at my first school had ESGI. The first grade team, we were not as lucky. Hopefully they have it now. I hope they have it now. So when I say one-stop assessments, all of my assessments are in ESGI. If I have something like fluency, the data from the fluency goes into ESGI so I can still see all of my data. One of the very nice things about ESGI is you can see your data as a class. All these fancy pie charts, this is whole class data. You can also break it down by student, by subject, whatever you want. It has tons of ways to show. I remember I talked on my vlog at the beginning of the year, I was doing an item analysis in ESGI so I could see how many students knew each individual letter of the alphabet. So I knew which letters I needed to spend more time working on, and then later I printed that same report and I could see the difference in their scores. There are so many ways to use ESGI that will simplify the way you assess and grade and teach and do report cards. It is everything. The way I typically like to assess my students is on my iPad, and this is something I'll do even during free choice. I might call over a student for like 2 minutes and have them do a quick assessment. I'm constantly assessing my students and checking in, seeing how much they've grown or what I need to work on them next with. And I want to put this in here too, just in case you aren't familiar with my Instagram or my channel. Even if you're doing paper assessments, even if you don't use ESGI, when you're testing your students and you're doing that one-on-one, okay, tell me the sound, tell me the letter, tell me the word, give them a fidget. It makes such a difference to our little learners. You would be surprised how much anxiety they have over testing. I noticed my students were twisting their shirt. I noticed they were, bouncing in their seats or doing other ways to get out that energy, and just giving them a very simple fidget like this. This one is from Spike Toys. It's one of my favorites because it's very tactile. They love to play with it while they test. It makes a big difference. So even if you don't use ESGI, please give your students a fidget to help with some of that testing anxiety. You'll notice a huge difference. But I do love ESGI because I can quickly test students on my iPad. The other great thing is our principal has access to all of our data, so he'll check in and see where a team is at. They also have a parent letter option. So whenever you do send your report cards home, all you have to do is print this parent letter, and it builds a sheet of information for your parents to see exactly what their child needs to be working on. You can print flashcards from here too. I won't spend too much time talking about it, but it is really helpful because they have almost any assessment you would need already in there. And if you wanted to put in your own assessment, if you wanted to plug in your own words for students to read, or if you wanted to put in your own, whatever it is, whatever you use to test your kids, you can very quickly make it in ESGI and you'll have it. It is so life-changing once you start using it, and you can access the data from anywhere. You can pull it up on your phone, you can pull it up on your computer, you can pull it up on your iPad. It is so easy. So if you're someone like me who is also data driven, this is the perfect thing. I do have a code for you guys. If you click the link in my description box, you can save money and you can get a free trial and test it out. Even if you just do it for the end of this year and kind of run it as a trial, like maybe tell your principal, hey, I would love to try this for our assessments at the end of the year, and then maybe you could get them on board for the next year and start your year off this way. It is invaluable. So those are my 3 tips for you. I do my testing on ESGI, which makes report cards easier. I do my comments first, taking anecdotal notes, and then putting them into a Word document and copying and pasting them. And that's about it. So super simple. If you have questions about something else that I didn't mention, leave me a comment below. I just wanted this video to be short and sweet. I love you guys so much. If you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and join our family. Like this video if it was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.